Welcome to the many interpretations of Titanoboa, an absolutely massive snake that lived from the middle to late Paleocene of what is now Colombia. A very cool animal. Absolutely massive snake, one of the largest to ever exist, and is yet another Cenozoic creature. Another one to add to the tally because we don't have a lot of Cenozoic creatures on this series. So very exciting. A lot of these depictions are going to be relatively similar to each other. And that's because we have a lot of modern day analogs. There's really not a lot of creative flares you can take with an animal like that. But regardless, there still will be some different takes on the animal. And all in all, I'm just really excited to kind of dive into this. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We will start off with Titanoboa, the monster snake. Now, this was a Smithsonian Channel documentary that was released way back, like around the identification of Titanoboa. So this documentary, did a lot of the heavy lifting in introducing the public to this absolutely enormous snake. Like after this point in time, I feel like the snake became a household name. This is how I was introduced to it anyway, and I imagine that a lot of different folks were introduced to it in a similar fashion. And all around, it's very good. It's a great introduction of the animal, and it's honestly still probably decently accurate, all things considered, all these years later. It seems like it is, like the design is mostly based off of the modern day green anaconda, which is fair. I mean, at least I think it is. That's what it really reminds me of. I could be wrong. If I am, be sure to let me know, but that's what it mostly reminds me of. A comparison like that is fair because Titanoboa and the modern day green anaconda belong to the same family, that being the Boid family. The family of Boidae pretty much contains all anacondas and boas, so that does mean that Titanoboa does share close relation to the green anaconda. And of course, the green anaconda is among the largest snakes that we have today, like just an absolutely impressive animal that you can see today. So again, I think taking some design inspiration from that really does make sense. The skull looks really good, and the whole body looks really good. It's also portrayed being in water quite a bit, which seems to match up from what we currently see of Titanoboa. It seems like the animal was mostly constrained to the rivers and all of the different waters that made up Colombia. So Titanoboa would definitely get a lot of benefit from being a mostly aquatic, boa. This documentary also showcases them eating a lot of crocodilomorphs that lived at the time. Now, I would say that that's probably possible. I'm sure that they would do it from time to time, but it is absolutely worth mentioning that analysis of the fragments of the teeth and the skull that we have of Titanoboa seems to indicate a more piscivorous diet, and that paired with the fact that it spent most of its time swimming around, it does make sense that it would go after fish more than anything. Not to really rule out the whole crocodilomorph eating thing, but it probably wasn't as prioritized as just going after fish. Regardless, this is a fantastic start, and this statue has always lived rent-free in my head. It is just absolutely amazing and terrifying at the same time. Dino Dana has a Titanoboa, and I love it. Look at this. I'm really digging the colors. The colors in particular are fantastic. You got like a type of pink coloration with some hints of orange, and that head looks great too. Like this, all in all, this does look like a modern day constrictor that you would see today. So I think it's fantastic. It also seems to fight a T-Rex, which is common, I feel. I don't know why there's so many T-Rex versus Titanoboa fights. It's interesting. But while we're on that topic, isn't it crazy that there existed a snake that was so big that people even consider having it fight a T-Rex? Because here's the estimations for Titanoboa. Estimated to have a length of around 13 meters and a weight that is estimated to be 730 kilograms, which is huge. That is one of the largest snakes to ever exist. That far surpasses pretty much any snake that we have today. Of course, recently there was identified a new contender known as Vasuki. There is a possibility that this snake was larger than Titanoboa. Current estimations make it like potentially longer at 15.2 meters, so roughly 2.2 meters longer than Titanoboa. I don't think we have an estimated weight yet, so we don't know if it's heavier, so we don't really know if it's larger than Titanoboa quite yet, but it was still large. Regardless, Titanoboa is still a huge snake, and the fact that people often want to see it fight T-Rex is just, it's crazy that there was a snake that existed like that, you know? But so far, Dino Dana is one of my favorites. There's just something about the way that these colors look. It feels like a real animal, you know? There's just something about it. I really like it. Primeval. We have this one that seems really unnaturally thin. I don't know what it is. This really does kind of scream shrink wrapping. It has like pronounced eyebrow ridges, which is interesting. The colors are pretty cool. They kind of have hints of pink, I think. ink, I think. From what I can see, I don't have the best quality images right now. By the way, this is from Primeval New World. I don't know if I ever clarified that, which is the reboot of the show. But it is showcase swimming too, which that does check out. And, again, it is just a giant snake, so it checks out in that department too. Really giant snake as well, but it seems like very thin in the head area. But once you get to the rest of the body, it seems like it's relatively like large. Then we have Secrets of the Dead, Graveyard of the Giant Beasts. Very dramatic title. One of the coolest images right here is this image right here, where it's just swimming underneath a crocodilomorph. Very cool, very representative of the environment in which it lived. But of course, the biggest takeaway image is this one right here, where you get a nice little comparison of it right next to a human. Huge, absolutely huge snake. And the colors are really cool on this one. I'm getting like hints of blue with maybe some greens and stuff like that. Some kind of like faded stripes. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I don't really have too much to say about this one, but again, the colors are very cool, I think. The Mysteries of the Lost Giants. From what I can tell, there's only a statue of this one. An oversized statue, yes, but a pretty cool statue nonetheless. Very cool coloration on this one. The head looks to be pretty good, and the body looks properly like a snake body. Very awesome. Don't have too much to say about that, but it is very cool from what I can see. By the way, I'm like looking down here, and look at this image right here. I forgot to mention this while I was looking at the earlier documentaries, but look at the size of that vertebrae compared to a green anaconda vertebrae, which again, the green anaconda is one of the largest snakes that we have today. And look how much bigger that Titanoboa vertebrae is compared to it. That is horrifying. I love it. Prehistoric things are so cool, man. It's so cool. Anyway, let's move on. Primal. I think that these are Titanoboa. When I type in Primal, Titanoboa, these guys come up. So I'm going with it. Of course, they're big snakes. They all vary in size. There's some that are relatively small, while there are some that are huge. Of course, Titanoboa had to grow. It would start off pretty small and then grow to be a bigger size. There was no one size represents the whole species thing going on with Titanoboa, so yeah, that's cool. Of course, the biggest ones we see are, of course, oversized, but that's to be expected for a show like Primal. And I think this is the first time we noticed it, unless I completely missed it earlier, but it is portrayed with fangs. That is something that they lacked. Titanoboa did lack those fangs. They had these type of like regular rows of teeth, similar to how like say anacondas or boas have today. They didn't just have these sets of fangs right here. Something like this seems to imply venom, which I don't remember if they had venom in the episode. It's been forever since I've seen season 1. If they did, again, be sure to let me know. But that is what these type of fangs seem to imply. The colors are really cool. You get a nice red coloration that is contrasted with some darker, like black or gray stripe type things going on, with some really green eyes that just look really cool. You gotta love the world of Primal. Holy cow, I just came across this image. It's been forever since I've seen this episode. Look how much bigger this snake is than Fang. If there's one world that I would never want to get teleported to, it's the world of Primal. That's too much. That's too much. But very cool. Incredibly stylized version of the animal, but again, is just really awesome. It fits the world. Then we'll go on to the Jurassic franchise, which only contains video games, of course. It appears in Jurassic Park Builder, once again shown with fangs, and seems to be pretty thin overall and very flexible. Like it kind of like raises up and stuff like that. It's very interesting. Colors on it look really cool. The more you level it up, the cooler, like the more vibrant the colors become. You start off with this type of nice blue coloration, then you move all the way up until you get to more so greenish colors with some hints of like light blue. It all looks really cool. It looks cool. It's a giant snake, and I still miss this game. And then in Jurassic World, the game, it also seems to have the fangs that are a little bit more pronounced towards the snout, but not as pronounced, I guess. It is a little bit more bulky compared to the Jurassic Park Builder version. And the texturing looks really good, and the colors look really good. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. I like it. There's not much else I can say. The more you level it up, the crazier it gets. It looks like it kind of gets samurai armor, oddly enough. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's what it reminds me of. Very cool. Very cool.
Now, here's the Gen 2 Titanoboa in Jurassic World Alive. I assume there's a Gen 1 somewhere, but I've been unable to find it. It seems pretty consistent with the Jurassic World the game Titanoboa, down to the skull shape and just the overall way that it looks. It definitely does capture the idea of Titanoboa pretty well. This massive constricting snake that was, just absolutely terrifying. It also does seem to have fangs, similar to the way that the other two have had. So it does seem to remain fairly consistent to the way that these guys are portrayed in the Jurassic franchise games. So yeah, I really don't have too much more to add to it. Pretty decent iteration.
Now, Ark, Survival Evolved. This is probably the most unique one that we will see on this whole list, because it's got a frill. It's like a frilled lizard here, or like the Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus, whichever way you want to lean. That is so different. The rest of the body looks really good, and it seems to have fangs like the previous few iterations have had. The head looks decent, and the body looks decent, but that frill, it's very stylized. It's very stylized. I'm curious. Let's take a look at the dossier. Let's see. Do they mention anything about the frill? Typically found within the island's caves, Titanoboa exornator is an aggressive creature that prefers dark, rocky areas. This extremely large snake, while being a member of the Titanoboa family, does not constrict its prey as most boas do. I believe that adaptation comes from coexisting with giant insects. However, the Titanoboa's venomous bite is so potent that it is known to paralyze far larger creatures. So this guy does have venom. Still didn't mention the frill thing. I was hoping that they would. Let's see. Being immune to knockout poison and being unable to pierce the thick... Okay, so they're not mentioning the frill. Oh, well. That's cool, though. It does have venom. That does explain the fangs, of course. So it is very different from its real-life counterpart. But very cool. Again, it is still just stylized. It's a stylized version of it. Not my favorite design for Mark, but still a cool one nonetheless. And then finally, I'll end things off with Path of Titans, because Divine Beasts is actually working on a mod for Path of Titans that I am incredibly excited for. So far, it's looking really good. I think it's decently close to being released, and it looks like they've worked on things like constricting, showing the fact that the image is like it constricting underwater, seems to indicate that this guy's going to be pretty good at being semi-aquatic, which is absolutely awesome. That does fit the animal very well, and I am very excited for this animal to be added. I know that there was once talks for a Titanoboa in the Isle, but I know that never really went anywhere. This is the only image I could find on that. Anyway, really excited for this. I will be playing it when it comes out eventually, and I'll make videos on that. But yeah, it'll be very awesome. And there we have it. Those are the various depictions that I could find on Titanoboa. If you guys have any others that you know about, be sure to let everybody know in the comments. I think that would be really cool to kind of like discuss all of the different designs out there and stuff like that. There aren't too many on this creature that I was able to find, but the ones that we did have were pretty cool nonetheless. Well, that is pretty much all I have for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and a comment, as well as possibly following, because, we talk about a lot of different prehistoric stuff on this channel. It's a lot of fun here, it's a lot of laughs. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and have an awesome day.